Hi, I'll be talking to you today about snake bites. So yeah, snake bites has a lot of information out there, some being very misleading. For instance, they say, go to a traditional healer and not a hospital, or tie your legs or put a stone where you've been bitten. These are all misleading and we must be wary of that. Now, every snake bite must be treated as a medical emergency. So once you get the snake bite, you need to go to the hospital. People who easily have snake bites, include, children, male adults. Yeah, every other person can have, but these are the people who would usually come down, with snake bites. And snake bites occur more frequently from the month of April to October, where, when the holes where the snakes live are too hot or have so much water because of the rains, and so the snakes come out actually to get a better place to stay. So also we see snake bites happening in farmers, people who keep poultry, people who carry their cattle around for grazing, people who have to walk on trees, people who go swimming in riverine areas and all of that, because some snakes actually live in water. Now this effect snake bites actually have on us can be targeted mainly at three parts of our bodies. So usually snake bites could affect our blood or our muscles or our nerves, and there are common snakes that we know already in our environment that could fall into any of these group, or some. So snakes like cobras, snakes like vipers, these are actually examples of some harmful snakes. Because as I mentioned earlier about some of those harmful practices, why some people get away with those are because some snake bites are from actually snakes that are not harmful, so harmless snakes whose venoms don't really carry out a poisonous effect. So that's why some of those people have been lucky, and you do not know which snake has bitten you. So I'm still emphasizing that snake bites must be treated at the hospital. Now, once the snake bites you, there are some things that you would see. So usually, because the fangs are usually like this, like two pronged, like the bites usually have two bite marks, the area around that place will be painful. Also, you may have some bleeding around that side, you may have some blisters coming up, you may also have the area around there now being insensitive basically to touch. So once you press, you may not feel anything, but you are feeling pain. So these are some of the symptoms to look out for at the site where you've been bitten. But some things could happen generally in the body. So you may be bleeding, you may be coughing out blood, you may have some difficulty swallowing, you may have some form of paralysis around where you've been bitten. So these are things to look out for. But once you get bitten, there are some things to do first at home. So some first aid. So for some snakes, actually, apart from just the bite, snakes like cobras can even release their venoms out in the air and enter your eye. So you want to wash your eyes in cases such as that quickly with just clean water without anything inside. Then for those that have been bitten physically, around that area where you've been bitten, you want to keep it immobilized. You don't want to move the areas in which a snake has bitten, because when you move them so much, then the poison spreads in the body. So if a snake has bitten you on your arm, for instance, you do not want to continue moving your elbow like this and that's flexing. You just keep it just in one position and then move to the stone. But another thing that you wouldn't do is tie. So do not tie your arm after a snake bite has happened, because that would lead to the poison remaining just here, and then a lot of other complications would arise once you tie, because blood will no longer flow to your arm, and you can even lose the arm in that event. So once a snake bites you, because swelling can easily happen, and or if you have wristwatches, let's say for instance, on your hand, you want to take them off, you have some bracelets, you want to take them off as quickly as possible while going to the hospital. Now when you get to the hospital, your doctor will handle it from there. After confirming you have a bite, he or she would now give you the anti-snake venom, usually put in a drip solution, and carry on with healing. So snake bite can actually be treated with just that antivenom. It covers for a lot of snake types, so you do not even have to worry about the particular snake that has bitten you. So just to reinforce, once you've gotten a snake bite, as I said earlier, you do not want to go along to try to kill the snake, to carry it to the hospital as a proof. You don't want to apply any substance at that point. You don't want to tie your hand. You shouldn't go to a herbalist. These are things that we shouldn't do. Now, to prevent snake bites, we must stay in very, very clear, open environments. We must have clear environments in our homes. So grasses shouldn't overgrow. They shouldn't come so close to our walls, because these snakes can creep and get into our houses. If we have trees around us, around our windows and what have you, these trees must be kept, their branches must be kept short, so that snakes do not walk up on these trees and enter our homes. If we have holes in the house, we must block them. We must fill them in with sand, with cement, cover them up so that those snakes don't come into that place. And children don't even go putting their hands in those openings where snakes could easily come out from. People who have to walk in such environment must wear gloves, thick gloves that will not be easily penetrable by snakes. So these are ways in which we can prevent snake bites. Also, people who have poultries would want to keep them also the environment around them very clear, because grasses, rather the snakes come in to pick eggs and what have you, and so you could easily get bitten by them in those instances. When we go camping also, we may want to elevate our beds if possible from the ground, or we get our nets, just the regular mosquito net, but tuck it in ground under the bed so that we don't easily get bitten. We must also carry our flashlights around, torchlights around, so that we can see around us in those instances. So yeah, these are ways in which we can prevent snake bites, and we must take and treat every snake bite as an emergency, as the various effects on our blood, muscle, nerves could lead to death if not attended to. Thank you.